Hello students, welcome to UGC PG Pathshala on quantitative methods in geography. Today we will be discussing basic sampling and test of significance for large samples. I am Aslam Mahmood, a retired professor from Jawaharlal Nehru University. We will be discussing large sample first because the sampling theory has a parallel theory for small samples also. Now, a research is generally made to uncover the reality most of the time prevailing in the larger areas of the society, and a census operation can only serve this purpose. However, due to paucity of time, resources and trained manpower, the census enumeration is not always possible. In such situation, we take the help of sampling methods through which we study the whole from its part. Theory of sampling equips us in this art. Thus, when we carry out a sample survey, the results provided by it do not remain to simply only a sample. Theory of sampling provides us the theory to generalize about the whole, that is the universe, from its part, that is the samples. One of the basic principles in this regard is the theory is that the sample has to be representative of the universe, that is universe or population. The universe or population of any study will be demarcated by the research problem itself. For example, if the research study is concerned about some health issues of the tribal population living in Rajasthan, all the tribal households in Rajasthan will form the universe of the study. However, if the study is limited only to some tribe, say Bhils of districts of Jaisalmer, all the Bhils households living in Jaisalmer will form the universe. Similarly, universe could be the agricultural forms of a district or of a region. Likewise, every sample study will have a universe. A sample survey saves a lot of time and resources of the researcher. But if the sample does not represent the universe, the whole exercise will go waste. It is therefore important before the analysis of the sample data to ensure that a sample is drawn from a given universe in such a manner that it is a proper representative of it, as any sample cannot always be representative of the universe. A sample can be drawn in several different ways. Which method of sampling will make it most representative of the universe will depend on the structure of the universe of the study, and all possible methods of sampling are discussed in detail in other modules. In present modules, we will discuss one most important method of sampling, which is known as simple random sampling, and discuss the properties of it related to generalization of its universe from a random sample drawn from it. Simple random sampling is a method of drawing a sample in which each and every member of the universe has equal chance of being selected in the sample. This method is useful when the members of the universe are fairly homogeneous. The method of drawing a simple random sampling is just like drawing a random lottery. A sample drawn in this manner is known as a random sample. Nowadays, computers are used to generate random numbers used for drawing a random samples. Information about the universe can be deducted from this sample information with the help of the theory of sampling. Detailed discussion on sampling methods are given in modules on sampling. That is how from different universes, how a sample can be drawn is discussed in a different modules. Here we will be just discussing the simple random sampling. The first thing in the theory of sampling, would be to discuss the sampling distribution. Sampling distribution is an important concept in the theory of sampling, as it provides the basis of most of the tests of significance. It deals with the nature of variation of the values generated by a sample in a repeated trial. For example, take a random sample of size n drawn from a universe of a large number of observations and note down its statistics like mean, standard deviations, coefficient of variations and regression coefficients, etc. After noting down these values, we replace the sample values to the universe again and draw another sample of the same size and note down the new values of these statistics. We repeat this exercise again and again over a large number of times. This will generate a large set of sample values such as large number of means and large number of standard deviations, etc., which when tabulated will give us a distribution for each statistics. These distributions are known as sampling distribution of means, sampling distribution of standard deviations, etc. Each sampling distribution has certain theoretical properties relating to the parameters of the universe and the sample statistics. In reality, we do not draw large number of samples and note down large number of means and standard deviations and other characteristics. In practical problems, we only draw 1 or 2 samples only. The idea of drawing the large number of samples and noting down their means and standard deviations and other statistics is only for conceptual clarity of the theoretical properties of the sampling distribution. These properties help us in formulating different tests of significance relating universe values with the sample values. Important sampling distributions. Sampling distributions of mean is the most important sampling distribution we have to discuss. If a large universe has a population with mean is equal to mu and a standard deviation sigma and a large sample of size n greater than 30. When we say large, that means the size of the sample should be 30 or above. If such a sample is drawn repeatedly with replacement over a large number of times, the sampling distribution of its mean will follow a normal distribution with mean equal to the same mu and the deviation equal to sigma upon under root n, where n is the size of the sample. This is known as the standard error of the mean. There is no assumption about the distribution of the universe except that it should have a finite standard deviation. Note that as n increases, the standard deviation of the mean values reduces and it approaches to 0 for very large values of n, that is all the mean values of means of very large samples will be identical and equal to the universe mean. Since the sampling distribution is found to be normally distributed with mean equal to the population mean mu and standard deviation sigma upon under root n, the properties of normal distribution can be applied to the range within which all sample means will fall. Thus, we can say that 68.23% of the sample means will fall within the limit of mean minus sigma upon under root n to mean plus sigma upon under root n. 68.3 is the property of the normal distribution. Again, we can say that 95.45% sample means will fall within the limit of mean, that is mu minus 2 sigma upon under root n to mu plus 2 sigma upon under root n. That is also the 95.45 is the property of the normal distribution. Further, we can say that 99.73% sample means will fall within the limit mu minus 3 sigma upon under root n to mu plus 3 sigma upon under root n. The above mentioned properties of the sampling distribution give rise to some of the important concepts like levels of significance and statistically significant difference, etc., and provide the basis of all kinds of tests of significance. Now we discuss what is level of significance. In above example, suppose we draw a sample of size n, which gives me the sample mean equal to m, that is m is the sample mean. If somebody who doesn't know as to where from the sample has been drawn wants to decide whether the sample has been drawn from the above universe, he can use the properties mentioned above at point number 2 or 3 and make a hypothesis that the sample is drawn from the above universe, that is a universe with mean equal to mu and standard deviation equal to sigma. Suppose he find that the sample mean value falling outside the limit mu minus 3 sigma upon under root n to mu plus 3 sigma upon under root n, as 99% sample means values are likely to fall within this limit, he may reject this hypothesis. However, there are chances that some of the genuine samples of the above universe may also fall outside this limit. In above cases, he will be committing an error of rejecting a correct hypothesis known as type 1 error. However, the chances of such error are only 1 out of 100. The probabilities of such an error is known as the level of significance. Thus, we define the level of significance or type 1 error as the probability of rejecting a correct hypothesis. In the case of the above example, the level of significance is 1%. We also have type 2 error defined as probability of accepting a wrong hypothesis, which we will discuss later. In some other cases, if in place of 99% limit, we take 95% limit, that is mu minus 2 sigma upon under root n to mu plus 2 sigma upon under root n, and reject a hypothesis, it will be rejected at 5% level of significance. It is quite possible that sometimes the sample value may fall within the 99% limit and 99% limit, that is between mu minus 3 sigma upon under root n to mu plus 3 sigma upon under root n and mu minus 2 sigma upon under root n to mu plus 2 sigma upon under root n. That is, it falls not beyond 3 sigma limit, but it is something between 2 sigma limit and 3 sigma limit, and it is less than 3 sigma limit, but more than 2 sigma limit. In such cases, it will be significant only at 5% of level of significance, but it will be insignificant at 1% level of significance. In most of the statistical analyses, we are not able to conclude with 100% accuracy. In such cases, we have to make a probabilistic conclusion as the next best alternative. Statistical tests are designed in such a manner that with every such conclusion, some probability of error is also attached. The researcher has a choice to choose the level of significance, the level of error. This level gives him some freedom of subjectivity in his analysis. Otherwise, all statistical methods are quite objectively defined, but this much subjectivity is allowed to a researcher. Thus, if a hypothesis is framed by a researcher is not being proved at a very low level of significance or error, say at 1% level, he or she has a freedom to go for a higher level of error of significance or error, maybe at 5%, to prove his or her hypothesis, provided the level of significance is specified. Now, after discussing this, let us discuss what do we mean by statistically significant difference. Imagine there are two agricultural farms of equal size and have similar conditions for the production of a crop. Total amount of yield of the crop in both the plots will be very close to each other, but not identical. In social research, such differences are considered as insignificant and are attributed to the differences of minor factors between the two plots due to random factors, and so are ignored. However, in any scientific analysis, whether a difference between two given values is significant or insignificant should not be left to the individual's subjective decision or choice. Statistical methods of test of significance provide us the basis to decide as to when a difference should be considered as significant and when not. For a variety of situations, these methods give some limiting values beyond which a difference should be considered as significant and below which or equal to which it should not be considered as significant. These limits are, however, flexible and carry certain chance factors associated with them. Like we can arrive at a conclusion using a limit of 5% level of significance. At the same time, we can draw a different conclusion by changing the level of significance from 5% to 1%. The test of significance provides us objective criterion with this much subjectivity only at the disposal of the researcher. In the case of large samples, such limits are used from the sampling distribution of means or other statistics which are normal in the case of mean. In the case of small samples, the sampling distribution of some of their ratios such as t is equal to mean minus m upon standard deviation upon under root n, or f is equal to S1 square divided by S2 square, etc. are used. Once we use some statistical criterion to decide whether a difference is significant or not, the conclusion will say that the difference is found to be statistically significant, not only significant, but statistically significant. That means we have used some statistical criterion to decide whether it is significant or not at say 1% or 5% level of significance, or the difference is found to be statistically insignificant also if it is insignificant at 1% or 5% level of significance. Now, the test of significance are of two types. One test of significance is known as one-tailed, the other is known as two-tailed test. Now, what is the difference between one-tailed and two-tailed test? While comparing two situations, we may be interested in two ways. Number one, we may be interested only in knowing whether A is equal to B or A is not equal to B. In this case, A can go either side, either higher than B or lower than B, and we make an absolute value of the difference A minus B. It can be positive or negative. Both types of differences are equally important for us. In such cases, we find out the limit either for large samples or for small samples. We use two-tailed test, since it can go to either side. On the other hand, if we are interested in knowing whether A is greater than B only, that is A is greater than B, we use the limit from one-tailed test. The difference between one and two-tailed test lies only in the level of significance only. In a problem of two-tailed test, suppose we choose to go for 5% level of significance, we get the required value under the column of 5% level of significance. However, if we go for one-tailed test only, we have to use the limiting value for the level of significance, double the level of significance for two-tailed tests. So, the value for the limit of 5% level of significance in two-tailed test, corresponding value for one-tailed test will be 2.5 tests. For 5% level of significance in one test, we have to see the corresponding value of the limit at 10% level of significance in two-tailed test. Test of significance of the difference between large sample means and the universe mean. Thus, if a sample is drawn from a given universe, 99.73% chances are that the difference between a sample mean and the universe will be less than 3 times of the standard error, and 95.45% chances are that the difference will be less than 2 times of the standard error, that is sigma upon under root n, derived from the properties of the normal curve discussed above. If a difference is found to be within these two limits, it is said to be statistically insignificant and is ignored, as it is attributed to the random factors only. However, if a difference is found to be more than 3 times of the standard error, it is said to be significant at 1% level of significance, as per normal distribution. Around 1% chances are that we may be wrong. And if it is between 2 sigma upon under root n and limit and 3 sigma upon under root n, it is said to be significant at 5% level of significance, as per normal distribution. Only around 5% chances are that we may be wrong. In case a difference is found to be statistically significant, it is attributed to some major factors, not the minor factors. Examples. Let us explain it by taking an example in a more concrete term. Suppose a random sample of size 100 is run from a large universe and gives the average size of forms equal to, say, 60 acres and a standard deviation of 25 acres. Can the average size of the form in the region be equal to 70 acres? Given x bar is equal to 70 and mu, the standard deviation, equal to 25, that is the population standard deviation. We have a sample standard deviation equal to 40 and size of the sample is 100. In the present case, we do not know the standard deviation of the universe, but since the size of the sample is 100, which is large, it may be considered as a good estimate of standard deviation of the universe. Now, the difference between estimated value of mean 60 and the proposed value of mean is 60 minus 70. The absolute value of this is 10 acre, and the 1% level of significance value for 3 sigma upon under root n is equal to 3 into 40 upon 10, that is 12.5 acres. Whereas the 5% level of significance value of 2 sigma upon under root n is equal to 2 into 40 upon under root 10 is 100, that is 10, is equal to 8 acres only. Thus, the difference between the universe value of 70 and the sample value of 60 is found to be significant only at 5% level of significance, as 10 is greater than 8. At 1% level of significance, the difference is found to be significant at as 10 is less than 12.5. That is, 10 is the difference between the sample and population value, and 12.5 is the limit of the. At 1% level of significance, this difference is not found to be significant, as 10, the difference is less than 12.5. Test of significance of the difference between two large sample means. Now, we will discuss that if we have two sample means from the two large samples from the two population, how to decide whether the difference between the sample means is significant or not. If two large samples are randomly drawn from two universes with mean and standard deviation as M1 S1 and M2 S2 respectively, and the following results are noted. The results are about the mean and standard deviation of the two samples. Equality of two universe means, that is M1 and M2, can be tested by testing the values of the absolute value of the difference between the observed sample means M1 and M2 by taking the difference value of M1 and M2 and taking modulus value of these differences. In case the difference of the sample mean is found to be insignificant, the difference would be that the two universes may have equal mean. On the other hand, if the difference is found to be statistically significant, the inference would be that the population mean M1 and M2 cannot be the same. It is found that the sampling distribution of the differences of sample means would be also normal, with mean equal to the absolute value of the difference of the two means population means M1 minus M2, and standard deviation, that is standard error, which is the standard deviation of the sample difference as given on the screen. The difference between the sample means will be significant at 1% level of significance only if it is less than or equal to 3 times of this standard error. For 5% level of significance, the value would be 2 times of the standard error shown here. Let us do it by taking an example. 2 random samples of rural settlements are drawn randomly from 2 regions. Size of the sample, their average population and standard deviations are given below. Test the null hypothesis that the average size of rural settlement in both the regions are equal. Now, these are the values which are given. We find out the difference between the two means, that is 700 minus 730, that is 30% in the absolute form. We also work out the standard error of the difference of the two sample means, which is found to be 11.51%. Now, 3 times of this standard error is 34.53. 2 times of this standard error is 23.02, or rounded to 23%. Thus, we note that the difference is found to be insignificant at 1% level of significance. That is, the two universes may have equal average population, as the difference of 30 is less than 1% limit, which is 34.53. So, the difference is insignificant at 1% level of significance, or in other words, the two universes do not differ in terms of their average population. However, if we increase the level of significance from 1% to 5% level, we can conclude that the two universes will not have equal average population, because difference of 30% is greater than the 5% permissible limit, which is 23% only, or in other words, the two regions differ in terms of their average population size. So, we see that if we do not go for census enumeration, we make certain conclusion about the universe, for which we, instead of going for census, we go for a sampling exercise and make conclusion in both the cases of one universe and in two universes. How can we make the conclusion about the universes? You have seen it by using the concept of test of significance. I hope you enjoyed and you have followed the concept. Thank you very much.